Yuki, my man, listen. You were doing such a great job at this, okay? Adding Soldier Boy, adding A-Train. I mean, A-Train's a bit overpowered, but they work and they function properly. I cannot say the same thing for Sukuna that you've recently added. Not only was this a character that nobody wanted, I mean, there was some people wanted, of course, but there was a poll, okay? You made a poll, and people voted for another The Boys character, not a character from another anime. And there's nothing wrong with adding another character from an anime, but I see an issue when you're adding a character that's oversaturated in the Roblox genre. Like, it seems that every developer has some fixation, to say the least, with adding Gojo or Sukuna to their game. And listen, there's nothing wrong with adding the character to the game, but again, it's because you neglected the polls that you've made regarding which character should have been added. And not only that, I feel like you should have waited until part 2 of the calling games had come out. This just generally seems like you just did it on a whim, just for the relevancy, just for getting attraction, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But the only real issue, I keep repeating myself, is that you ignored your fans, you ignored the people playing your game, just for self-gain. Because this is a character that should have probably been released when the Calling Games Part 2 came out. And the fact you put Sukuna in that quickly means that the entire premise of adding Sukuna was simply to attract LARPers or whatever. Like, the entire goal was just to gain that fandom into your game. Because I heavily doubt that he actually watches JJK or is actually in tune with the fandom, because he's using Cleave as a range attack. The range attack is supposed to be Dismantle, so he either doesn't care or he's LARPing JJK too. And at least to me, I feel like on the way this character is played, it feels rushed. Okay, the moves feel delayed. Like, I don't know how long or when this character was started, and maybe I'm completely wrong about this, but on my own experience of 20 minutes of playing it, the character just feels awful. But maybe I'm also just, a trash player, okay? I try to kill the characters with the M1 being Cleave, and I'm just bad at aiming it. So maybe it's purely skill based. But even when I'm trying to, the slash is just very delayed. Like, it's at least a second or two delay after I press it. And not only that, it's super slow, so that makes it even harder. Like, every other character in this game has a nice quick M1, or at least a laser beam, okay, that's near instant. But the Cleave, not so much. And as for any character that's added by JJK, they need to have fantastic cutscenes where their moves take about, I don't know, a good 10, 15 seconds. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's like 6 or 8 seconds. And even that, it feels like too long. It gives the survivors enough time to move out the way. Yes, it has a large AoE, but for a map like Shibuya where you can just go above or below, it's just not good. And the destruction's awful with it, especially with Fuga. Fuga, it's a good move, but the destruction on it feels awful. I can't tell if it's delaying my game or just making my game laggy or a bit buggier. Maybe I'm wording it wrong. I probably am. But the destruction for it feels horrible, and I understand there's balancing issues that comes with Fuga probably destroying a whole building. That's an issue. So I can think of 2 ways to fix this problem. One being we add the waffle cutting splash from when Sukuna fought Kashimo, or we can just switch World Cutting Slash with Fuga. We make Fuga the ultimate attack, and World Cutting Slash the one you can just aim around. Because as from what I can remember, Fuga is supposed to be more of the destructive type of move that Sukuna has, and World Cutting Slash is more so just a way of bypassing Gojo's durability and just attacking the space he's within. Not really meant to be a huge wide attack. And while it can be a huge wide attack, I don't think that's the main purpose of it. No flame to them whatsoever, but the testers, seriously, what advice or what did you say to the developer to where you give them the impression that this character is ready to play? Because everyone, just about everyone who's in my lobby, everyone who's in the Discord is complaining about the character. Not only because they did not want it, but because he does not play right. He does not feel right. Not in the sense that he does not belong there, but in the sense he's just not a good killer overall. So unless the testers are only looking for bugs and not actually how the character feels and plays, I just can't see how this character was released the way he was, because it's a complete waste for how much this character cost and how he actually plays. And in the majority of this gameplay that you're seeing, I'm getting my ass handed to me because it's just not a good character whatsoever. Oh, and I stopped using the sense move because it locks you in place. It stuns you while you use it and covers your screen with a bunch of messages, which, that's really helpful. Thank you for adding that. And not only that, with the stun that it gives you, it leaves you open to getting fucking jumped. So, that's always cool. Like, this character is heavily punished for using any of his moves. And it's insane. For 2 to 3 of his moves, you're getting punished for standing still and stun locked. Like, look at me. I'm just getting my ass handed to me. Like, there's no tomorrow. And it's so easy to avoid. And I couldn't even figure out if this was a move, Fuga being the move, by the way, that was able to be aimed around. It took me like over 10 minutes to figure out that I could move Fuga and it wasn't just a move that was locked in place. And that's probably just me being dumb, okay? So that's unvalid criticism right there. And when you look at this, I've gotten my answer. And you know what? This is a very poor answer, okay? I generally do not like this answer at all. Because, yes, he spent time, he spent money on it, but that's his fault, okay? He made a poll. After the fact, he wasted his resources. How's that our fault? There's no point of having a poll if the answer stays the same. That is exactly what this person said here. He should have made the poll prior to actually wasting his resources. And not only that, he shouldn't have gone for Sukuna. The only reason he even went for Sukuna is because he comes from a oversaturated, overused anime/manga that's popular. That's the problem, and that's the only reason he did it. And you know what he could have done? Instead of scratching the character, he could have revised the character, made it into something else. Like, Sukuna could have literally been the Roaring Knight. He could have just swapped a few things out, moved some things here and there, and boom, we got the Roaring Knight from Deltarune! Chapter 3 or 2, 5, Roaring Knight would have been a nice niche character to have from the game. I mean, yes, Deltarune is popular, but hey, you wouldn't expect Deltarune out of all things, would you? And if not that, then at least use those moves for other characters. You can have a lineup of other characters ready now because you have at least 1 or 2 moves ready from the Sukuna character. There's a bunch of other characters that have similar assets to Sukuna regarding a fire attack to move, slices in the air, or slash, whatever you want to call them. Like, this has to do more with him just wanting to release a character just for the sake of it because he knows it's popular, knows that'll probably get him attention, not for any other reason. And now, if we're going to end up being punished with any other anime characters simply because this one character failed because no one wanted him, then that's just not fair to any of the players, like, at all. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you everyone for listening in. If you stayed this far, I love you so much. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.